LeBron James is expected to miss the beginning of the NBA season. And while that might raise eyebrows across the league for the Los Angeles Lakers, it opens up a whole different kind of conversation. We're not just talking about the absence of one of the greatest players of all time. We're talking about the ripple effects that stretch across the entire roster, the implications for team chemistry, and especially what it means for the guys who now have to carry the load. Most notably, all eyes are going to be on Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. Yeah, LeBron sitting out might sound like a setback on paper, but it could end up being one of those disguised blessings, especially if it gives the Lakers a real chance to evaluate what they've got in this young core. Now, word is that LeBron could miss the first 5 to 10 games. Maybe even a bit more depending on how things go. But let's be real. The urgency around his return is going to depend entirely on how the team performs without him. If the Lakers come out flat and start something like 2 wins and 8 losses, LeBron's probably suiting up faster than expected. But if they start 8-2, playing confident basketball, the organization might opt to give LeBron the extra time he needs. And let's not forget, LeBron has personal incentives to play at least 65 games this season. All-NBA honors, season accolades, even just maintaining that elite status in his age 41 campaign. That matters. He's not here to be forgotten. He's here to be remembered. But short-term, this early absence is going to shift the spotlight heavily onto that Reeves-Doncic duo. Chemistry is everything in this league. Talent alone doesn't win titles. It's about reps. It's about rhythm. There's a big difference between saying 2 players can work together and seeing it actually click at a championship level. LeBron and Luka have the potential to be a scary pairing, no doubt, but until they get significant time on the court together, it's all theoretical. And in the meantime, the coaching staff is going to have to start figuring out what this team looks like without that LeBron safety net. That means more touches, more playmaking duties, and more pressure on Reeves and Doncic. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Think about this. The Lakers are heading into an offseason next year where they'll have to make a massive financial decision on Austin Reeves. Is he truly part of the long-term plan? Can he be the reliable second or third option next to Luka? Is he a guy you pay $35 to $40 million a year to keep around? These first 10 or 15 games could go a long way toward answering that. If Reeves comes out the gate averaging, let's say, 23 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, playing efficiently and contributing to wins, now you're starting to get data. Now you're seeing whether this investment makes sense. And it's not like this is coming out of nowhere. Reeves has had flashes before. We've seen him go off in regular season games, take over in the absence of stars, show that offensive spark. But it's different when you're the guy every single night. It's different when teams are game planning for you, when defenses are keyed in on your tendencies, and when your team is relying on your production to stay afloat in the standings. That's what this stretch is going to show. Is Reeves just a good role player who shines in moments? Or can he sustain production at a high level across a full NBA season, under pressure, with expectations? Now Luka's situation is obviously different. He's already solidified. No one's questioning whether Luka can lead a team. The man is a transcendent talent, a top 5 player in the world, and someone who you can build a franchise around. But what we haven't seen yet is how he operates in a system where he doesn't have to do literally everything. The idea here is that Luka doesn't just carry the offense. He has a reliable partner who can create, score, and take some pressure off of him. If Reeves can be that guy, or at least show the potential to be that guy, that changes everything about how this Lakers team is viewed not just this season, but moving forward. And let's not sleep on how this affects other players on the roster. DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt. These guys are going to have to step up too. It's not just the Luka Reeves show. This is a chance for everyone to show they can contribute in a bigger role. If Hachimura can give you consistent two-way play, if Ayton finally becomes the force he was projected to be when he was drafted, if one of the bench guys like Jake LaRavia breaks out, suddenly the Lakers start looking deeper, more dangerous, and more prepared for the grind of an 82-game season. The new collective bargaining agreement is putting pressure on teams to make smarter financial decisions. You can't just throw max contract around and figure it out later. There are penalties now restrictions that limit flexibility. That's what makes these early games so important. If Reeves is about to demand a huge raise, you need to know for sure that he fits. You need to see proof. Because overpaying a guy who's not a true number 2 or even number 3 option could seriously limit what you can do down the line. Let's talk numbers. Reeves without LeBron last season, he put up nearly 28 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds. That's all-star level output. Is it sustainable? Probably not over an entire season, but the potential is there. The skill set is there. And more importantly, the confidence is there. What we want to see now is how that production holds up when it's consistent. When teams know he's the second guy after Luka. When he's getting the top defender every night. Can he still get buckets? Can he still create for others? Can he still lead when Luka's on the bench? There's also the long-term build to consider. If this Reeves-Luka core can work, if they can show real chemistry, real balance, that gives the front office something solid to build around. And look, not every championship team is built with 2 superstars. Sometimes it's one transcendent guy, your Luka, your Giannis, your Jokic, paired with 2 high-level secondary pieces that can step up when needed. You don't need to replicate Golden State's super team model to win in today's NBA. You just need a well-constructed roster with guys who understand their roles and execute consistently. Think back to Denver. Everyone doubted whether Jamal Murray was good enough to be a true number 2 behind Jokic. But then they get Aaron Gordon, they develop their bench, and suddenly, that team is unstoppable. Or look at Milwaukee. Giannis didn't win it all until they brought in Jrue Holiday, who isn't a flashy star, but fits perfectly with what they do. That's the blueprint. That's the kind of situation the Lakers should be thinking about replicating. You got Luka. That's your superstar. Now it's about figuring out whether Reeves and Ayton can fill those other roles, and whether guys like Rui and Vincent can round out the rest. This LeBron absence, short as it might be, gives the Lakers a unique opportunity to do that without the pressure of fitting around LeBron's game. It's not a criticism of LeBron. He's still a top 10 player in the league, even. Of course, we know the noise is coming. If the Lakers win games without LeBron, the hot takes are going to flood in. People are going to say, see, this team doesn't need him anymore. That's not the point. That's not the conversation. The point is not whether the Lakers are better without LeBron. They're not. The point is whether they have the pieces to survive without him. Whether they have the next generation already in place. Because LeBron won't play forever. The transition has to start at some point, and this season, whether by design or by necessity, that transition might quietly begin. Now, I'm not sitting here expecting Austin Reeves to average 28, 6, and 8 again. That's Luka territory. But if he can give you something like 23, 5, and 6, that's huge. That's enough to justify paying him near max money. That's enough to believe in him as a foundational piece, especially if it's translating to wins. And that's the bottom line here. Stats are nice, highlights are great, but this is all about winning. Can Reeves and Luka win games together? Can the Lakers stay in the hunt while LeBron recovers? Can they make a statement that this team is deeper than people think? And while all eyes are going to be on Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, this stretch without LeBron James is going to expose more than just the effectiveness of a duo. It's going to shine a spotlight on every crack, every strength, and every player's ceiling on this Lakers roster. This is the kind of scenario that forces teams to grow or exposes just how far they still have to go. Because once you take LeBron out of the equation, everything becomes more raw, more real. The excuses disappear. The systems are tested. And for a team with championship aspirations, this is exactly the kind of early challenge that could define a season. One of the biggest things that often goes unnoticed when a player like LeBron isn't on the court is just how many problems he solves without anyone even noticing. His IQ, his positioning, his ability to settle an offense when things get chaotic, that's not something you replicate easily. So now, the question becomes, who steps into that leadership vacuum? Is Luka ready to be that guy not just in terms of stats, but presence? Is Reeves mature enough to not only deliver offensively, but also organize, guide, and keep the unit composed when the game gets tight? Because let's be real, winning games without LeBron isn't just about points. it's about poise. It's about knowing how to close games, how to survive third-quarter runs from the opponent, how to not crumble when momentum shifts. These are things that LeBron does without fanfare, and now those responsibilities are going to fall on much younger shoulders. And it's not just Luka. It's guys like Gabe Vincent, who was brought in for his playoff experience. Guys like Rui Hachimura, who had a fantastic postseason run, but now needs to show he can maintain that level over an entire season. Guys like Ayton, who has had all the tools but still hasn't fully delivered on the potential that made him a #1 overall pick. The upcoming games will also tell us something about coaching. Darvin Ham is entering a pivotal year. It's no longer just about rotating lineups or drawing up plays. Now it's about managing egos, getting the most out of your role players, and making sure the team doesn't spiral during adversity. And there will be adversity. Even if the Lakers win early, the media noise, the rotation issues, the looming contract talks, it's all going to be swirling. How the coaching staff navigates this phase could be just as critical as what Reeves and Luka do on the court. Let's talk about DeAndre Ayton for a second. This guy has flown under the radar for too long. He's not the flashiest center in the league, and sometimes that's been part of the problem. People forget just how impactful he can be. But now, without LeBron soaking up attention and creating easy looks for everyone, Ayton's going to have to go get his own. He's going to need to run the floor, be aggressive in the pick and roll, crash the boards like a maniac, and be a defensive anchor. If he can do that, suddenly this team looks a lot more complete. But if he fades into the background again, that's going to raise major questions about his long-term fit alongside Luka and Reeves. And this stretch is also a sneak preview of what the front office might have to deal with at the trade deadline. This isn't just about evaluation. It's about forecasting. Who looks like a long-term piece? Who looks expendable? If someone like Rui doesn't elevate his game in this window, suddenly his name starts popping up in trade rumors. If Jake LaRavia shows serious upside, the conversation shifts to him being part of the next core. If Reeves takes a step back or shows he struggles when defense is keying on him, that alters the financial strategy going into the summer. These games matter, not just for the standings, but for the entire structure of the roster moving forward. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, in what could be one of the more intriguing moves of the season, whispers are circulating that the Los Angeles Lakers have quietly bolstered their roster with the addition of Trey Murphy III. Sources close to the team, Ed and Murphy, is set to don the purple and gold in the upcoming games. Murphy, who has made waves in his previous stints with impressive three-point accuracy and a knack for stretching the floor, might be exactly what the Lakers need to complement their star-studded lineup. There's speculation that the front office sees him as a high-upside addition, someone who can contribute immediately while also developing into a more central role over time. Fans have been buzzing on social media, with some envisioning Murphy forming an unexpected but potent partnership with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, creating new offensive schemes that could make opposing defenses rethink their strategies. Despite the excitement, there's also chatter about how Murphy will fit into the Lakers' rotation. Will he be the long-awaited perimeter threat that helps open lanes for the stars? Or is this a move designed more for depth and immediate impact? Coaches are reportedly thrilled by his basketball IQ and professional approach, and whispers from practice sessions suggest he's already impressing veteran teammates. Analysts are now debating whether this acquisition signals a larger strategy by the Lakers to retool mid-season or if it's a calculated risk aimed at strengthening their playoff push. Rumors aside, one thing seems certain. The Lakers are making bold moves, and Trey Murphy III's arrival is already stirring conversations across the league. Whether he will be a game-changer or a quiet contributor remains to be seen. But for now, the buzz around Los Angeles is palpable, and fans are eagerly awaiting to see the new dynamics on the hardwood. Could this be the piece that finally puts the Lakers back on top, or just another intriguing subplot in a season full of surprises? Only time will tell. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.